All right.
You want to do cold shot?
We could do cold shot.
Let's do that.
Let's do it. Hi, everybody. Welcome.
This is NPR. No. Here we go. Twice as long on the 5-chord. Oh, I'm gonna do it now. Hey, welcome everybody. How you guys doing out there? You notice who's not here today? We traded Angela in for Eugene. That's right. No, Angela. You know, welcome everybody. Angela's here. Angela's here.
It is so good to be back. Thank you.
Hey,
We're back.
So, Eugene's having a small, elective invasive
Ooh, I know.
procedure
Rough.
done.
Rough.
Yeah. And you guys go ahead and write in the comments what you think that might be. And then the winner gets a shout out. We'll shout out to the winner.
Shout out. A nice virtual high five, as I like to say.
Yeah. So
Yes.
there's a lot of procedures, so it's your bevy of control there. But we traded Eugene in this day for the lovely Angela and we're so happy Angela's here.
Oh my gosh. Thanks for having me back. It's always a blast.
I feel like we're sitting so far apart.
We are.
Like we're like Oprah and Gail on a fight.
Remember that show when they did they did the road trip?
Yeah. we had a Tootsie and we're not getting along behind the scenes. Yeah. Anyways,
I wanted to pull over in Albuquerque and you just weren't listening.
Yeah.
God.
Well, you had to go to the bathroom over and over and over. Okay,
Gotta go. When I drink a lot of
and
coffee,
it's true.
that's what
Drink
happens.
a lot of coffee. It's a lot of
God.
fluids. So that's the show, guys. Not a lot of liquids on the road trips. But today we want to talk about how Angela goes about buying a guitar. What is she looking for in a guitar purchase? And we want to talk about how some of the things that you guys might do when you're going to go out and buy a guitar. And I'm not necessarily saying like, oh, I want to buy a Fender or a Fiat, not a guitar, or
Not a guitar.
or what style. I'm more referring to what the aspects of the guitar is itself, the characteristics of the different types of guitars, the brands, the body styles, the weights, right? We talked about
Big thing to talk about.
It's a controversy, yeah.
Yeah.
The shapes, the ergonomics of them, that's a thing,
It's
right?
a thing.
It's 2023. So you guys don't be shy. Ask your questions, make your comments, and we'll carry on and we'll get this thing going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. Well, kicking this off.
Okay.
I think ergonomics is a big one.
Yeah.
And as far as like a guitar that's so, at least for me, very, very comfortable to play.
Yeah.
I mean, I really think you can't beat a Strat.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
They're just the cut for me, the belly cut in the back, which you can kind of sort of see here.
Everybody see that?
I know for me, it's just like it just so like fits and is great. And you got to think about all of this stuff when we're looking to buy a guitar. I mean, first and foremost, I think like budget. Is
Budget's a pretty big one.
and that's always the first thing when like
Yeah.
students of mine or people I meet at shows and they're like, all right, I want to buy this guitar, and my first thing is like, great, but what's your budget?
Right.
Because you can go and like, all right, $3,000, I'm gonna go and buy this and this, but you can also get really awesome guitars for like not that much money.
Yeah, especially if you're willing to shop. So it's like,
Yes.
if you're dealing with a small budget, Angela's saying like, you might have to do some more shopping to get the most out of your dollar, right? And
Absolutely.
Patience. We should write patience down as a feature on the guitar.
Big time.
Patience when looking for the guitar is going to let you get the best deal. Anyways, carry on.
I mean, for me, just talking about patience, I played 40 different Les Pauls.
Yeah, so we had this conversation, and we wanted to make sure that she wasn't on anything. She played 40 Les Pauls before buying that.
4-0.
I mean, that is a level of patience, a diligence.
I'm a patient person, Dylan.
Yeah, wow.
I'm a patient person.
Wow.
Yeah, 40 different ones. Those of you may or may not know, I do a bunch of videos at Norman's Rare Guitars here in LA. And Norm has an amazing collection of really, really awesome Les Pauls. And I was, writing tunes and getting ready to record my EP. And I'm like, it's time to get one. Because I love Strats, and I've got a bunch of them. I've got a few Tellys. And I'm like, it's time to get a Les Paul.
Would you be willing to play that for us for a second? So, because I want everybody to hear, we can describe some of the characteristics.
Absolutely.
We'll start tonally.
So I've got this all the way, every knob up to 10. I've got it in the rhythm position here, but just, I'll kind of highlight kind of the cold shot vibe we were doing.
So what I hear with Les Pauls, like if I'm just describing it with non-technical terms, right? Fullness.
Oh, yeah.
I hear a significant amount of sustain. I hear a lot of like muddy wood, and I don't mean muddy in a bad way. I mean muddy,
just
like
thick and
exactly.
a lot of presence. Yeah,
a lot of presence.
just
exactly. Look, and sustain, ton of sustain. One piece of wood, by the way. It's a one piece.
That'll go all day.
So maybe tell us, like, what was it after trying 40 of these guitars?
Yeah. For me, weight was a big thing, because Les Pauls are notoriously heavy guitars. Yeah. They're beautiful and they sound great, and a lot of they're heavy. They can be heavy. So I knew that I wanted one that was lighter. I didn't want one that was chambered, though. I wanted one that was a little bit lighter.
Now,
but
why not chambered? What's
this is probably like a controversial
we're gonna
thing.
have, so I know some people. I'm
less
in
sustain.
the chamber.
Right. I like a lot of sustain when I play. And, I read a bunch of stuff like, okay, the chambered ones just don't have as much sustain. So I'm like, okay, I want to find one that's a little bit lighter, more comfortable to play. Yeah. I don't play long gigs. Like, I don't do the 4-hour gigs anymore. I used to.
Right.
I don't do. So I knew that, I still want something that was light and that was comfortable. Light for a Les Paul.
Yeah.
And I, again, reading up on these, I wasn't as familiar with Les Pauls.
Sure.
So I talked to a bunch of friends who were, and I'm like, okay, what are the big characteristics I should be looking for in purchasing my first Les Paul? And I want it to be a good one, and they're like, okay, you definitely don't want it above 9 pounds if you can help it. And every guitar is going to be a little bit different. They may be made in the factory the same day. But gosh, this one's, maybe 9.3, and this one's maybe 9 on the nose, or
and that
whatever.
has to do with whether the wood is dried out, what type of wood it is, the amount of moisture it contains, the density of the wood, tons of stuff.
So I knew I wanted it under 9 pounds, and I played a bunch, and Norm has some incredible Les Pauls, and I play them like, these are fantastic guitars, but it's not mine. I haven't found mine yet.
Yeah.
Went to the Guitar Center in Hollywood on Sunset, played a bunch of them. They were great. It was still like, the neck would feel really good on one, but then I would lift it up and I'm like, God, it's too heavy. Or one, it was light enough, but I didn't like the neck. And the neck for me is big. If I do not like the neck on any guitar, I don't care if it's a Telly, it's a Strat, it's an Explorer, it's a Les Paul, it's a Junior, whatever. For me, if the neck is not comfortable, I'm not going to play the guitar. I don't care how good it sounds.
Wow. Yeah, so let's stop and talk about the neck.
Yeah.
So the neck is where the artistry and the craftsmanship reaches the highest detailed point. Meaning, I know, it sounded good even when I said it. I said, wow, did you just say that? But basically, so what's called slotting the nut, which is there's a set of tools that you use to slot the nut. If you're really good, you can use the same tool and do it with the same sort of nut slotting tool. That's a one-off. Right. That's a destructive editing process. Let's call it that. And then the fret work and how the frets sit on the neck, whether they're leveled and dressed, all of these things are craftsmen, like 10,000 hour type of skills.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the people doing these things at these two companies have been doing them for 40 years. You know what I mean? Like, and it's really, there's a famous woman that works at Fender who is, I can't remember her name offhand, but she works there, and she's famous for, having hammered at least 1,000 frets into a guitar a year, and for year after year after year, the same way that we might bend a string and just have no, consideration for it. So, that's part of what you're getting with a legacy brand is you're getting, hopefully, you're getting that sort of craftsmanship on the neck. So that's why it's a big deal there. Carry on.
And this one, again, looking at all the things and hearing all of the different guitars, I'm a fan of Strats, so I knew I wanted a neck that was a little slimmer. I didn't want a big, like, baseball bat type neck.
Right.
That, for me, that's not as comfortable.
And
I
is
know
that
for
the
some
50s
players it's great.
Style,
The
late
50s,
50s and 60s?
The 50s will be a little bit bigger. However, a lot of people say the sweet spot were the 59s.
Oh.
So I started looking at the R9s. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. So immediately budget goes up.
Wait,
Right.
so R9s, what is reissue 9s?
So it's a reissue
9s.
59.
Got it.
It's a reissue 59.
Yeah.
So this one here is an R9 custom shop from 2013. And it's in a lemon burst, which is just so lemon burst, which is beautiful.
That makes me hungry. Doesn't that make you guys hungry?
They're delicious.
Yeah.
Lemons are very good.
Lemon drops. Lemon.
But I knew immediately like that I wanted a lemon burst and reading on the reissues, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a good investment.
Yeah.
And then I played one. I'm like, oh boy, yeah, these are really great. Because again, Norm had a bunch of them, but I'm like, I haven't found mine yet. So went on Reverb.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and the guy who had it wasn't too terribly far from me, so I reached out, and he's like, come and check it out in person. And I played 2 chords and knew immediately I was going home with this guitar.
And so what year was that you bought it?
So I bought this in 2020.
So it was 7 years old when you bought it.
Yeah.
And this guy barely played it.
He was the third. So I'm the third owner. So
God.
He was the second owner. So from what I understand, it was made in 2013 and was in Japan for a long time. The original owner was a Japanese businessman, as far as I know. And he was a collector and played it a little bit. And then he was out in LA and sold it to the gentleman that I purchased it from.
Wow.
And he even said, he goes, this is one of the best Les Pauls I've ever had the joy of playing.
Wow.
And it was just, he was such a lovely guy, and we had just a wonderful afternoon, playing all the other Les Pauls he had in his collection. And I was very, very fortunate enough to take this one home with me. And it's all over the EP. It's all over my EP. It's great. I love this guitar.
So let's talk about why people love to record with Les Pauls so much. Because one of the biggest reasons, if you guys record at home, you'll notice with the Les Paul, the transients, which are the visual representation of a sound wave, are more compressed. They're more sort of cageable, meaning you can sort of it's not going to have to be compressed by an external source. The amount of volume coming into the recording unit is going to be within a range that's manageable. Versus Strats have a very notorious characteristic of like high dynamic variability, meaning the transients, they're up all over the place. And a lot of times you end up having to use compression with Strats. And that's part of the reason that sound is so popular of a compressed Strat too. So Les Pauls record and mix very well because you have to you have to wrangle a guitar in to record and mix it. You got to wrangle it in. And so Les Pauls are a little wrangled already in their tone and the way that they work. And so that's one of the reasons they just record really, really, really well. And everybody's, when they're looking for that sound, they're looking for a Les Paul or a Strat sound. They may not know it, but that's what they're looking for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I knew immediately, because so many of my favorite players play Les Pauls too. I mean, Jimmy Page and Peter Green, just so many of my favorite players. And that was something too, in listening to these guitars and really turning them up.
Yeah.
I'm just like, they're great, but it's not the sound that I hear in my head.
Yeah, right.
And we all have that perfect, like the perfect guitar sounds like this.
Right.
It's different for each of us.
Yeah.
And I knew with this guitar, I'm like, that's the perfect Les Paul sound to me. And when I heard it, I knew. And then I'm like, okay, well, it sounds great. Does it play great? The neck felt really comfortable. I could just lock into this. Because, again, I'm so used to playing Strats. I love Strats.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
And I wanted a Les Paul that was a nice, kind of gateway into the Les Paul realm that was comfortable, yet still, like, there's a little heft to this.
Yeah.
But it's comfy. I'm also a big acoustic player, so I'm used to having a little bit bigger necks, too, in that regard. But it was such a joy to record with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great guitar. And it's light. This is 8.6.
Oh, that's really light for a Les
Yeah,
Paul. That's
it's
really,
8.6.
really light. Yeah. Daniel, do we have any questions before we move on?
We do have some questions.
Ooh,
All right. Okay, go
questions.
ahead. Everybody say hi to Daniel. Hi, Daniel.
Hey there. So there are quite a few questions on neck shape, which
Neck
you guys
shape.
are touching on.
Let's do it.
Mark did ask, what is your favorite neck shape?
As far as, like, for Strats,
Let's do both.
Yeah.
I mean, this 59 neck is, like, kind of working for me on the list.
And that's a C shape, right?
It's a deep.
It's a deep D.
It's nice. I'd say this feels like a C neck.
It's a C. I think most Les Pauls are C, but I could be wrong.
As far as Strats go too, I mean, a C neck is my favorite. I have a slight V on one of my Strats that I really like as well.
The V is
I know
awesome.
you like those.
I like
lot.
the V's. I like the V's.
Yeah, the slight V I like. The particular model of neck that I have is the Jimmy Vaughn signature neck, and I have that on the pink Strat that I brought.
Tough enough? Sorry.
Yeah.
I always say that.
He's playing like I was just driving around and he's playing in LA. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
I love his touch. I think he's
got a
great
great
player.
tone. God.
God, those all those Austin players,
I know.
man.
Jeez.
Those Texas musicians,
Tone
they're
gods.
Fantastic.
All right, so for Les Paul, C shape.
Yeah, and then really for Strats too, I like the C shape or the slight or the slight V.
Slight V.
Yeah.
I like principally I like a slim D. Like if I'm gonna play something where I have to play fast. Tone guitars, it's kind of different. So if I have to play something technical, I really want the guitar to be the most like just fleshed out thing that it could possibly be. Just a complete, like a Ferrari or whatever, a Lamborghini of guitars. But if it's a tone situation, pretty much you got to think of it like this: you're trading convenience and playability in many cases for tone. So like the thinner you make things, oftentimes the lighter. That's why it's so unique to find a good sounding light Les Paul, because oftentimes the lighter, the thinner, the more accessible you make things, you can lose tone. You lose tone.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking for a huge, tone wave, then the bigger the neck, the better, because it's more resonance. Yeah. What about you, Daniel?
Which neck shape do I like the best?
Yes.
I have a Fender Custom Shop Telecaster that has a U-shaped neck, which is kind of the big one, but I have bigger hands. So that has so far been the most comfortable neck shape I've ever owned.
I played one of those once, and I did like it. A friend of mine had that neck shape on his telly, and I'm like, wow, this is so different and so cool. It was very streamlined, I thought.
Yeah. For being so big, it was surprisingly comfortable. Yeah.
If you get in a position where you have to play like some Bach, the U shape can get in your way, but that doesn't happen.
No, it does not.
That doesn't happen as much.
It does not.
As it used to, and so. But I would just want you guys to be. I don't know. I want you guys to be prepared. That's all.
My friend Gretchen Menn plays a lot of Bach on her.
Thank
guitars.
you. It happens. It happens. I mean, you get. These are rough cities. So I think that. And sorry, do we have other questions?
Yes, other questions, please.
Help us.
We do have a couple more questions. Darren has a couple cool ones.
Yeah.
He also asked about neck shape and just kind of explaining that, but kind of to follow on to that, he asks how fretboard radius may relate to hand shape at all.
Oh, Darren, that's like a
I'm
NASA
gonna
question.
let you answer that, because I agree. That's in like the NASA realm for me. I'm like, if it's comfortable, I know it's comfortable and it feels good. I don't always get so particular, like, there's this kind of radius.
Indubitably.
This and this.
Vis-a-vis
Me
concordantly.
personally, but
Well,
Dylan.
you know what? So fretboard radius has more to do with the flatness of the fretboard, right? So the thing. Hey, excuse us, Rex. Do you mind if we?
Come on, man.
You mind if we?
See, he doesn't like.
I don't
fretboard
think he
radius
cares. He
questions
does
either.
not. So
You done?
if you ever play like a 70s telly, I'm gonna grab one. Watch. I just pulled my ears out, but that's okay. So this is a 76 telly, or 70, I think it's a 76. So these have a notoriously rounded fretboard radius, which is why it's pretty easy to make it so when you bend strings on this, it will fret out if you get the action too low. Versus a very a very flat radius will allow you to get the action extremely low and bend the strings. So fretboard radius has less to do with comfort of the neck and more to do with the sound and playability of the guitar. How was that?
I think it's great.
That's not bad, right?
No, not bad
Next
at all.
one. Next question. Power round.
Next question. Another good one from Darren. Something that I actually have some experience with, if you guys don't. But he asks, any thoughts on plecking a new guitar?
Oh, I haven't done it yet, and I want to.
I've done it, but you go ahead, Daniel.
You can tell I kind of want to talk about it. Yeah, I got that same custom shop Telecaster plecked, and it was surprisingly a little intonated funny no matter how many times I got it set up. And now the pleck machine, if you guys don't know, it's a robot that basically like perfectly aligns your frets to. It's
like Chat GPT for your frets.
It's like Chat GPT for your frets.
It's really the same thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is like 15-year-old technology at this point, though, too, right?
I would say I don't think you have to worry about it. Well,
go to a great luthier.
Yeah, go to. I think
find
that's a great
someone
thing.
you trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've like when I was in Nashville a couple weeks ago, I saw the machine. I'm like, damn, that is so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you've got intonation problems, see, that gets annoying.
Well, where's the accountability? So let's say the pleck does a bad job.
Robot.
What do? You go to it. Hey, you stole my. And what's it gonna do?
It's gonna beep beep.
Yeah,
beep,
become
beep,
self-aware.
beep, beep,
That's what it's
beep,
gonna
beep,
be do, and then attack you. So
yeah.
I also think one of the things that any one of us can do is become perfectionists pretty quickly, and I hate to let perfect be the enemy of good, and you hear that in my playing all the time, and so I think that. I think that as a, depending upon where you are in the guitar journey, and this isn't necessarily for Darren, right? But sometimes it's just best to just let it be imperfect and just carry on,
Find a good luthier.
Yeah.
Someone you trust with your instruments. I know we all have like the guy or gal that we bring our guitars to and trust them. And
maybe we should make guitar health insurance. Like we have guitar theft insurance, but like,
oh yes.
What if your guitar's
yeah, not feeling so good.
Yeah, and
not playing so well.
I need a pleck. And so, like, you just...
Give me the pleck, man.
Well, do you have an HMO or a PPO? And they got to do the forms.
Never
mind, screw that. I don't want to do it now. But, okay, so any other questions there?
But yeah, that's another thing. Get your instruments insured, everybody.
I think it's a good idea, you guys.
Do that.
Yeah.
Do that.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
If you love it. If you like your instrument, yeah.
Get them insured.
Go ahead. Sorry, Daniel.
Yeah, Scott asks if there's any preference on Gibson humbuckers. There's so many options: burst buckers, 490 TS, 59 reissues, something aftermarket.
Oh man, I mean that's a rabbit hole in and of itself.
Yeah. Well, so this has 59 reissues, obviously. So 59 reissues are some of the most popular of all those, Scott. Burst buckers are a modern sounding 59 reissue in many respects. I think they're they sound great to me. For my ear, they're not so radically different that I would change them out generally. I believe 59 reissues are the less gainy of the category. So if you want a ton of gain, you might want to.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know with this, like I have no intention of changing anything on this guitar.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like a super, super loud player either.
No, you're not. You're really not.
I'm not. I try not to be that person like, can you please turn down?
That's a thing. A lot of guitar players are getting asked to turn down across this country. In fact, right now, statistically, how many guitar players are being asked to turn down?
I would say probably at least 700,000.
On the minimum side. I mean, it's on the lower end of the bell curve.
I mean, the last I checked when I was reading.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I believe. Yeah.
I think you're probably right. Okay. No, but so that's a salt to taste situation, but it's the status of salt. It's like when people ask like which supplements should I take? I'm lifting. I don't know if you can tell I'm lifting all the time. not me, someone else. But which supplements
This
should I
muscle
take?
is attached to the dorsum is attached. It's
Right,
boring, but it's my life.
It's a tattoo of like a Japanese hieroglyph. I don't actually know what it means, but anyways.
I think that means shoe.
Yeah.
Tennis shoe.
But
Yeah.
it's like the last 3% of the guitar in many ways. I think pickups are a big deal if you want high gain. Other than that, they're kind of like a salt-to-taste situation.
I agree. I think the weight of the guitar, the comfort of the neck, all of that has when you're looking to buy an instrument, like those are the things you need to look at. Because really, if you don't like the pickup on a guitar, but you love everything else, you can swap them out.
Yeah.
We've all done it.
Oh, I've
done it a ton. You've
It's
done
easy.
it a ton.
It's
so easy to do, guys. So easy to do.
And it's like you just burn yourself a little bit and you can get over with.
Yeah. It's
But
all right.
So
Shock to the system. It's all good.
okay, so talk about like let's go through this scenario. You've gone to Norm's or to a guitar store. You're at home. You guys go to your stores. You start picking up guitars. I know for me, the way I know that I like the guitars is the playability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Playability. It's a mixture of things for me. Weight, the neck profile, 100%. Those are the big two.
Yeah.
Because with pickups, like, all right, it sounds good, but could I get pickups to make it sound better? You could. That's easy.
Yeah. And again, it's going to be 5%.
Also, to me, and it's maybe like beyond like the physical, if I don't love an instrument, I don't buy it.
Wow.
I have to love it. This is me.
Wow.
I have to love it. If I don't love it, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I have to be, and it has happened to me one time where I went to a store, I played it, and I loved it, and then I walked away, and I'm like, gosh, I hope it's still there. Thank God it still was.
Right. Yeah.
I have to love it. If I'm not constantly thinking about, oh my God, that guitar is so great, I don't buy it. I don't have to, and I've liked guitars a lot.
Right.
Like that guitar, I really like that guitar a lot, but I didn't love it, so I didn't buy it.
Yeah, that makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
I think as soon as I sit down, if I can't stop playing it, that helps me know that I want that guitar.
Yeah.
Can we play another song? We'll give them another demo of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to do? This is a little place outside of the Central Valley called
See
LaGrange.
if I remember how to play it.
How. Around. No, I'm not gonna sing. That's right. Just like the record.
Just like the record.
So, yeah. So, okay. So here's something that you can hear right away, right?
Oh, yeah.
This guitar sounds pingy.
Pingy, absolutely. And by, you can go and you could switch between, like, this is the middle position, so you've got both of these engaged. And then you go and play this guy.
That's a lot of sustain. Yeah. That's not a lot of distortion either, you guys.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so that's a ton of
This
sustain.
is stupid.
Wow.
Stupid good. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so a lot of ping, and
It's a winner.
I would say that's gonna be hard to beat. It's gonna be hard to beat right there.
Hard to beat, y'all.
So, Daniel, do we have any other questions as I walk through this scenario of buying the guitar?
Yeah, we have a bunch of new questions.
Oh wow, that's wonderful.
Let me double check.
Hold on, let me just get situated here. Okay, go ahead.
Ready.
How
We're ready.
sensitive are you to getting dings and nicks on your guitars? Do you
Wow,
treat them like
that's
treasures or
okay.
tools?
Easy. I mean, what are you trying to say?
I'd say it depends on the instrument. I will say with this one, I'm really careful. With others, I'm like, yeah, I've dropped it during rehearsal. I'm like, you're fine. You're okay.
Yeah.
This one, I'd like to keep as nice as possible. But, life happens and
can we
things get
talk
dinged.
about something this is going to be hard?
Okay.
All right. Les Paul's 335s, 135s, 165s, other numbers with the word Gibson before
Yes.
them.
I know exactly what you're about to talk
Have
about.
a tendency when they are dropped
Oh,
to break at the
Yes.
headstock.
yes, sir.
And it's a thing. It's sort of like, you know how the story of Achilles tendon?
Yes, sir, I
And
do.
it's- the headstock is the Achilles tendon of the Gibson. So I have personally had a headstock break, actually, on a 335.
Oh, my
335s are where they really happen, right, Daniel? I mean, that's where they really...
Yeah, I broke my 339 twice now.
Oh, 339s are awesome. God,
Did you hear that twice? He broke it twice.
Broke it twice. Last
Can you
one was
imagine the
about
scenario?
6 months ago.
Wait, you broke the headstock 2 times.
2 times.
Oh my god,
So this is
that's
when you...
heartbreaking.
That's when you go to rehab, because it's time to get sober. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a constant. It's something to constantly think about with this guitar. I know with my Strats, like that is something I never have to worry about. It's like, oh, the neck broke. I'll just get another one.
Yeah, right.
And bolt
yeah.
it on. It's 4 bolts and you're done.
Yeah.
This is a completely different monster.
Well, and so here's the good news, okay? Like every recovery, there's a golden parachute there. Probably not. But when the neck does break, and I mean when, you can glue it and it will never break in the same spot again.
This is
That's
true.
definitely
This
true.
is true.
They're very glueable. But just know that. I mean, they have a tendency if they fall over on a hard surface to break at the headstock. I'm not joking, you guys. It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
It's
so.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
You see these videos of like I brought my guitar on the plate.
Yeah, well,
you're like,
that
oh,
was the
no.
first mistake.
Yeah, get a good case. If you're gonna, and that's something else too. If you're gonna invest in a great guitar, get a great case for it too.
That's a great point. Angela
a
brought
great-
her case, and it looks like the nuclear football.
They made fun of me. I don't
yeah,
care.
it looks like.
I have an SKB flight case for this. It's waterproof.
Yeah,
The whole thing.
it's right forged.
Flotation device.
in-
Forged
in the
yes.
eye of Saruman.
With yes.
Yes.
With the gross guys
Yeah.
coming out of the whatever the hell that stuff was. God, that scene like still grosses
rough.
me out in that movie.
It's really hard to watch.
gross and like
Yeah.
oh, it's so gross.
So that's
But that's where
the
the
deal.
case was made.
So if you get a
Yes.
Gibson, you just need to get some sort of case from a mythical land. It's fine.
It's fine. You just it's on yeah.
Go on Reverb. So I think that you can.
They got a couple on eBay sometimes. It's
Yeah.
fine.
But okay, outside of that, I'm the same thing as Angela. Like I if it's a really special guitar to me, I try not to ding it. Especially if it's a vintage guitar, not this one, but other ones. Eventually they reach the ding. I would call it like the ding
Yeah.
threshold where you're like, you know what? I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I tell you guys a story?
Please.
Okay. So
What if I had said no?
I wouldn't have told it. I would have I would have held it in. Like,
Okay.
And I would have been burping this whole time. No, but I was playing with a young starlet, and she had just purchased a brand new red guitar, red Fender Strat, and the manager took it from her. This is a terrible story. This is a bad story. And the manager was also her father, and put his key over the pane of the guitar, so there's this huge line in it.
Oh, I'd be so bad.
And that was basically, I mean, this was a different era. And that was basically so that you just stopped,
Caring.
putting it on a pedestal.
I know.
And I thought that was a very sort of, tough love, David Goggins military style of way to get over getting, bumps and
done
bruises.
it on the back?
No, it's on right on the front, right here.
I'd be so pissed.
What kind of animal?
I'd be really mad.
I mean, she was really
I get
mad.
it, like a ding or something. You got a screwdriver or something. I'm like, okay.
Even that, it's like, what is your problem?
I'd be really mad about that. Yeah.
So anyways, it's just be happy we live in a different time.
Indeed.
We have a whole new set of problems to worry about. So other questions. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we have gotten quite a few questions regarding
Did you hear
how
that?
you would go about buying guitars on the internet.
Wow. Well, parental filters. Start there.
Yeah. I am a fan of getting your hands on the instrument
I don't buy
first.
guitars off the internet.
I do not either.
Yeah.
I saw this one on Reverb, and I messaged the guy because he lived not too far away from
Right.
me. I said I'd love to play it in person. I am not a fan of just getting stuff on the internet and you're kind of crossing your fingers because every guitar is so different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every guitar is so different. It could be the same model, but you play one and you A/B it to one of the same exact model, same exact year. It's gonna sound different.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Well,
I don't know.
I think
I get nervous. Play the guitar. Have it in your hands.
it's tough because we like to buy with our eyes. So like
Yes.
if you and I were gonna buy, let's say we started bowling a lot,
Yes.
and the secret is we bowl all the time.
All the
as it
time. We
is
have
right now.
shirts and
Yeah.
everything. What's the name of our? What's the name?
The
team.
Stover pockets.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Continue.
Anyway, so if we were gonna start bowling and we were gonna buy some bowling balls, guess where we'd probably order them from? Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess, or whatever, bowlingrs.com. And what are we gonna buy them with? Our eyes. That's
that
right.
one's pretty. It's sparkly.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Yeah.
think that's a thing, remembering that other people have other things that they're experts in besides guitar. They're going to be making decisions with their eyes, and I think that has a lot to do with buying online. It's okay to buy online. It's just that, it's a crapshoot. I mean, you might get something that needs a lot of work.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm a fan
gamble.
of. It's always great to play it in person. I mean, from what we've talked about the last 39 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to play the neck and you want to feel how heavy it is
Yeah.
and all this stuff. You can't do that on the internet, But it's a gamble.
Can we say a guitar might have a soul in a way? I mean,
Oh, 100%.
and
yes,
and
of
I
course.
don't know what soul I'm dealing with right here. I don't want that lady from Poltergeist to have to come and this house is clear.
They're here.
Yeah. And I don't want to have to deal
No,
with
not my house.
I don't have to
Not my
sage
house.
the room every time I play.
It's a lot of work.
You know what I mean?
It's a lot of work.
I've seen The Omen. So,
That's the only really scary movie I like
really?
is The Omen.
Yeah, you're not a scary movie
And
person.
I'm not a scary movie
Yeah.
person. I like that one though with Gregory Peck.
That's a really great movie.
Great movie.
I mean, The Exorcist is great. It's great.
I haven't seen it.
You would like it. You would like it because
will not
it's
see
on
it
par.
right now.
It's on par.
I like sleeping.
Oh, here's a good question. And this is actually a genuine question. It's not a hypothetical. What would you guys think about? What is your favorite horror movie soundtrack? Because I think American Werewolf in London would be mine, and everybody's going to say the same thing. But I said it first because I asked the question. But I do think
There you go.
there's quite a few of them that have great soundtracks. But that's just a side question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're at the store. You found
Yeah.
a guitar that has the
Yeah.
soul that you love, right? And this is a big point. You're ready to make the deal.
The deal.
So this whole time, I should mention that we've had someone in a bowler shirt sort of crowding around you with Avon cologne on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something in
Quite pungent.
Yeah, something that comes in a glass eagle.
Okay.
And you there's yeah,
Yeah.
it smells like that
yeah.
too.
Yep.
And so anyways, it's like I'm just joking. Poor kid.
No, you're not.
I'm
It's
just
okay, I
joking.
know.
Okay, yes, it's true. I'm not joking. I'm not joking at all.
We know.
No, I'm sorry,
We've all
Norm.
been there.
Sorry about that, Norm.
We've all been
Yeah.
meeting people who it's not Norm.
No, Norm, you're a
No,
lovely
no,
man.
No.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, sometimes you meet folks at a music store. It's
Yeah.
sometimes quite
Well,
pungent. It happens.
I
But
mean-
that's anywhere. I used to work at Comic-Con.
Yeah. Wow.
Before my musical days.
That is really
That was
that's
that was
courageous.
a journey.
Yeah.
That was a journey.
Very courageous.
Yeah.
Well, you're focused on your craft
Yeah.
as a music store professional, and you don't have time for hygiene.
You got to make time for that.
Anyway,
Okay, so we're at the store and we're ready.
and you're ready to purchase.
Okay, you're ready to purchase.
Yeah. So now what
Yeah.
happens? What happens next?
I mean, I'd hope you'd not run out of the store with it.
Right.
'Cause That would
Assuming you're actually
require
going to buy it.
some
Right.
tackling, and
Yeah.
that's not fun. Have you seen that video? There's a video of a guy getting tackled in a
Wow.
music store.
Are
Yeah.
you serious?
Oh yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
I worked in music stores for years growing up, and there are so many like theft tricks that I am not going to say on the
horrible.
air that people
That's
use
horrible.
to steal guitars. You know what is so horrible about it? Do you really want to go to jail over like a $500 purchase? I mean, is that really worth it?
That's
Oh
not
God,
right.
we're gonna get political. Please don't write anything political. But go
So
ahead.
as far as like you're ready to buy, I'm a fan of cash.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of cash.
cash talks.
Cash talks.
Cash talks.
I'm a fan of cash.
Yeah.
I have purchased many guitars on a cash deal
Right.
and have gotten a good deal
Yeah.
with the cash in hand.
Well, my question for you is, I mean, do we pay sticker price? What happens? Do we take it up to the counter and we're like, okay,
I guess it depends on where you're at.
yeah,
It depends on the store.
yeah. I have some ideas.
Okay, go
Okay.
for it.
So if you're at a store where they're like, look, man, like this is already totally like bumped down as low as it could possibly go. Get them to throw in stuff.
Oh, that's interesting.
You love the guitar, so you're not
Right.
leaving without it.
Right,
And of course, they can't know that.
right.
You would, as far as they're concerned, you would just assume burn the guitar as take it home. You don't care.
Right.
But yeah, get them to throw in the accessories, the cable, the pick. Well, not one pick, I would hope.
More
than one. Get some, yeah. But that's a way to get something out of that deal. Another way, if you're going to ask for a deal on a guitar, I think you got to be willing to walk.
Yes.
You got to be willing to walk.
Absolutely. 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 Yeah. Oh, and I've done that. There was a guitar I bought probably about 10 years ago, and it was at a pawn shop.
Right.
It was at a pawn shop, and
I mean, that's where you can really haggle too.
I know, yeah.
Gosh.
And I haggle to the point where friends who are with me get incredibly uncomfortable.
That's all right. That's
Oh,
okay.
I don't care.
That's because they're not Italian.
They're we know how to haggle,
Hey,
folks.
oh, hey.
We know. And yeah, I have no problem haggling.
Yeah.
I know it makes some people uncomfortable, but like it's fun for me.
Life is uncomfortable.
Life is uncomfortable.
Life is
It's super fun. I love to haggle.
Yeah.
Love. So, yeah, and I had, I had the cash and I, before I walked into that store, I go, this is the tip top of what I'm going to spend.
Yeah.
And I'm not going a penny more than what I have in my pocket.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow. That's a self-discipline thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm like, this is as much as I'm going to spend. I'm not going to go over this amount of cash that I have in my pocket. Done. And the sticker price was obviously a little bit different than what I had in my pocket when I went to the pawn shop, and I go, this is what I have. And he's like, well, that's not what the price is. I go, I realize this. And then I take the guitar off the wall and I go, listen, this thing is filthy. And this was all true.
Yeah.
I go, this guitar is filthy. It's going to take me at least 3 hours to clean this.
3 hours.
I go, look at the fretboard. Look at all the gunk here. That's going to take me a good hour. I got to get oil. I got to do all this stuff.
Right.
And this was a plus for me, but
Yeah.
I made it seem like a negative. I go, this thing doesn't have a pickup. I'm going to have to go and buy one.
Wow.
That's super annoying. But I was really happy. I'm like, I get to pick the pickup that I want in this acoustic
What kind of
guitar.
guitar was this? Oh, it's acoustic guitar.
It was an acoustic guitar. And I'm like, I'm going to have to do all this stuff. I go, so as I'm counting it, that's what it's worth. So I go, here's the cash. And then he said, okay.
Oh.
And then I gave him the cash and got the receipt and I ran out of that pawn shop.
That's really good. Yeah.
That's what I did.
So-
I'm like, look at all the things that are wrong with it that I'm going to have to deal with.
Right.
I'm going to have to clean this. I'm going to have to get a pickup installed. I got to do this.
Those
cash.
Those are great ideas. And also
Anyway.
just like be like, this is literally how much money I have.
Right.
If you want to have the money instead of the guitar,
Right.
then,
Cash talks, man.
well, okay, so here's a couple suggestions for you guys in that regard. When you go to the music store, if you're going to the same one habitually, because I know you're addicts. Get help. But if you're going to the music store and you're going to the same one habitually, you want to find guitars, I'll say it like this, that have had birthdays. So they've been on the wall for a while.
Because I like what you're at. Yes.
Most music stores finance their guitars, meaning they don't even own them, right? So a bank, they're literally borrowing the money. These are super, you guys, these are like super insider tips right here. They're borrowing the money to be able to purchase those guitars and sell them to you. Not all, but a lot of them. Unless they've had so many birthdays, they are now the owner. And if they have it for too long, the interest on the money that they're borrowing to own it actually starts to accrue significantly.
Interesting.
So there's more incentive for them to sell it. And that's a fact, Jack, what I'm telling you right now. So if you want to have more like haggle room, let's say with a particular large retailer that has taken over all the other retailers of musical instruments, I can't remember the name. But if you want to have more haggling room with them, look for the stuff that has had a birthday and ask them how long has this been here, or if you've seen it for a long time.
And sometimes some of those guitars are a little beat up too, that have been hanging there for a while.
And then use the Angela trick.
That's my trick. I go, this isn't a new guitar though, really.
This is filthy. What is that, canola oil?
Look at that. There's all these dings on it. What are you going to do? Well, here, I got this much money. Take with a cake to cash. I'm suddenly from Boston-ish.
Yeah.
Listen.
Sorry.
I got a water cashier. What are you going to do, kid?
Daniel, is there still anybody here? Do they have questions, or are they just asking how to have us
There are
hospitalized?
still people here.
Okay.
Eileen asks, how about balance, neck versus body?
Wow.
SGs are heavy on the headstock.
Great question.
Epi 339 feels bottom heavy. My Jazzmaster feels balanced.
It's a great
Is that
question.
a quality difference or something you get used to?
That's a great question.
Yep.
I'll and please.
No.
The neck dive is a big thing.
God.
Is a big thing.
Yeah.
The way, sometimes like heavy tuners can make the guitar kind of do this, and that's not fun.
Yeah.
Something to think about also too. Tuners can be swapped as well. So if you really like the guitar and you're like, God, it's a little neck divey. Those tuners are a little heavy.
This is good advice.
You could do that too, but there's positives and negatives. Some folks think that these kind of tuners get out of tune a little bit more than the ones that are a little heavier that you'll see like on the 60s standards versus the 50s standards.
Yeah.
It's up to, I don't know, from owning, so I have this Les Paul and then I've got a Les Paul Jr. The Les Paul Jr. has the heavier tuners and I notice it like kind of dives. So I may go back to this, but I have it tuned a lot lower. And it stays in tune very well because I have that one in like open C because I'm crazy and like one of the songs I play in is an open C.
Slide guitar.
Slide guitar is so fun though.
I know.
But that's been the big reason why I haven't changed it is because I'm going to need that help in the tuning department to have that little bit of heavier.
Right. Yeah. The heavier gears or heavier tuners. Yeah. Okay. So this is great advice. So one of the reasons I love where our viewers are going with this, and I'm sure your rather large brood is in the same category. People are starting to really take an interest in building out their guitars.
It's fun.
Even if you're buying guitars, like, and you know who you are. Listen, you've got a problem. The first thing is just admit it. But even if you're buying guitars all the time, just taking a guitar and just starting to build it out because you like it, it's a really great process, and it's how you make something just. It's how you develop a sound. It's a way you develop a sound.
Absolutely.
And some signature.
It's fun, and a lot of times, it's a cool, affordable way to do something. You're like, God, I really like the sound of that custom shop. I'm like, wait, what kind of pickups are in those?
Yeah.
And you can build one that's custom to
yeah,
you.
Right. And there's going to be some cussing. I mean,
there's going to be a lot.
When you take it apart, you're gonna start to think, what have I? I've made a terrible mistake.
I relicked a Strat, and let me just say, I went to a hardware store and bought some muriatic acid. True story.
I thought you were going to say 3-day lockup, but yeah, no,
muriatic acid.
Muriatic acid, yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Muriatic acid.
And I use it now to like clean the driveway when a friend comes over with a really oily car, a leaky, oily car.
God, I don't even know what muriatic acid is.
It's potent stuff, man.
Sounds like a really good band name, though.
Is it? All right, well,
Or
I think
album.
that should be the name of our bowling team.
Our bowling team?
Done.
Muriatic acid. Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
That's all right. I
That's
like
okay.
it. We got a theme song too, folks. Come
so-
and see us at the Hollywood Bowl. I didn't know that's a bowling.
But you can't park anywhere nearby.
No.
So the thing about the heavy headstock is, and here's something to think about with all of you that are concerned about weight and guitars. Do you remember when you were a kid and you went backpacking, or if you're still able-bodied, unlike me, you go backpacking now? You're like, well, do I really need all 4 of those Q-tips? Because those are going to be heavy. like you're wondering like which type of Star-Kissed tuna is the lightest.
Dylan is the king of analogies.
Yeah.
In case you guys haven't noticed. How do you come up with these? Oh my god.
So you're trying to get your pack down, and you start to realize it's like saving money or losing weight or everything else. It's like every little bit adds up. So if you go and pick hardware that's lighter, if you go and look for things that weigh less, you'll have a lighter guitar.
This is great.
Even the back of the neck plate here on a Strat, for example, adds weight. So
absolutely,
these are ways to get that neck to not pull the guitar down all the time. So that was a great question.
Really great question.
I thought it was really good. What else do we have there, Daniel?
Martin has a couple questions.
All right.
A couple specific questions about your guitars, Dylan.
Yeah.
What year is your Strat, and what do you guys think about Seymour Duncan Strat pickups?
Oh, my Strat. It's a. This is, I honestly don't know. I think it's 1980 something, 1983 or 84.
That's a great playing Strat, by the way.
Yeah, it plays amazing.
Super fun to play.
1983, 1984. I think Seymour Duncan pickups are obviously great. There's a lot of different Seymour Duncan pickups, so without going into specific ones, I would say the hot rail, if you ever have a Strat and you're like, man, I wish I had a humbucker guitar, you can put this is a big trick we used to do. You put a hot rail in it and you have a humbucker guitar. Of course, I would argue a guitar with a humbucker in it is not technically a Strat. It's some sort of abomination. No,
I had my last Strat that had a humbucker in it, and I just took it out. So now all of my Strats are all SSS.
And so people are like, but what about the buzz? And it's like, no, the buzz it's part of the thing. Although there is a certain kind of pickup.
My Fishman Fluence, I love. I love them so much. The Fishman Fluence Strat style pickups. I've had them in my guitars for a while. I have them in too many Strats, and for real.
Yeah.
Like I played a gig in Austin with that Strat, and which is the home of Strats in Austin, Texas.
Oh, are you kidding?
And after that gig, I had a bunch of people come up to me like, what were those pickups? And I'm like, they're the Fishman Fluence. I really like them. They charge. They're cool. And they're silent.
Yeah.
I recorded, and that guitar with those Fishman Fluence pickups were all over my EP too.
Right.
That was all over that Strat that you hear on my EP are that 98 American Deluxe with those Fishman Fluence.
So if you guys haven't checked out Angela's album, it's called The
you.
Voices.
Yes.
She released it about
2.5 months ago.
2.5 months ago. Wow.
Jesus,
exactly
I know.
2.5 months ago. And it's great. It's fantastic. It's definitely it's the most vulnerable songwriting I've ever heard you do.
Oh, thank you.
Which is hard. I mean, eventually you just start getting older and you're like, I really don't care anymore. That
was a big thing for me with this EP.
Yeah.
It was the first time I sang lead, and I'm like, expletive.
What are you going to do to me?
I'm just going to, I'm like, I'm telling my story.
Yeah. So
thank you. It's really sweet of you to say.
There's quite a few songs on there that you guys need to check out. So please do go and have a listen to that.
Thank you.
And if you feel compelled, buy it off iTunes or whatnot. Daniel, we have time for one more, and then we're going to play it out.
Cool. This one's a good one. Greg asks, how many guitars do you specifically, Dylan, own? But I'm sure we'd love to hear Angela's collection, too.
Let's, Greg, I'll see you at the next guitar acquisition meeting, of course. And we're granted one more day only by the grace of God. And the serenity offers me now, and all that stuff goes.
What's the number?
I honestly don't know. If you guys could see in here, there's a stack of guitars back
Oh my God,
there.
there is a stack.
It's probably
maybe a range. Do you have a range of idea?
I mean, in the 30s. How many have I owned in my life? Definitely over 100.
No kidding.
Well over 100, yeah.
No kidding.
I'm old though, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I had quite a few guitars get stolen, you guys, over the years.
That's heartbreaking.
I know. I had people break in the back of my car, and there was nothing I could do because I have a terrible story. One time I was getting out of a gig, and this is in the Central Valley, where apparently guitars go to die, and I put the guitar in the back of the car and walked back in the club. The stage to the car was like 20 feet, and somebody stole the guitar between there and there. I mean,
That's
it was
so messed up.
I kind of gave them credit, though, for being that Mission Impossible. Your guitar collection, go ahead.
18.
18?
Yeah.
So, you know what? It's a great number. Sebastian
18.
Bach.
18 in life. And if I had more room at my place, I'd probably have a few more. but
Yeah.
and I love all of them.
Yeah.
I love all of them. I did have a PRS, a Carlos Santana 3 that I had for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
That I sold so that I could buy this.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's your take on PRSs?
I mean, I that Silver Sky, I think
It's
pretty
killing.
cool, man.
It's great. It's really
great.
cool. Yeah.
I played one and I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. The neck was my favorite part of that guitar.
I was going to say, so
The neck was
the
fantastic.
fretwork on PRSs is flawless.
I was very, very impressed with the fretboard and the neck of that guitar.
I owned one way back when they first, no, I don't know about when they first came out, but they used to have a rotary knob as the pickup selector, and it was
Yeah.
impossible. I
Yeah.
couldn't, there's no way to, if you're playing, she's a brick house, and you got to get down you can't, there's no way to, hold on, mighty, mighty, let it all hang out. And you can't, so no, that didn't work. How about a Parker guitar? Did you ever own one of those?
No, I haven't.
See, I'm so old that I went on every stupid path that
Oh my
guitars have
God.
gone on. You know what I
know.
mean?
I've always, like, it has been Fender and Martin and now Gibson.
Yeah.
I had a few Taylors
Right.
too.
So you're like the Warren Buffett of guitar owners. Like you buy the legacy stocks.
Yeah.
And you own 'em
I
for your
do.
lifetime.
Yeah. Because I've the only guitar I've sold was that PRS.
Yeah. And I was trying to get cheap thrills. You know what I
See?
mean? So don't do that.
Because, yeah, I mean, these
Yeah.
are, like, when I have kids, like, they're going to, like, this is going to be an heirloom for sure. They're going to be super lucky. I got a great collection. They're going to love
I have
it.
2 guitars that an uncle gave me, and
Yeah.
it was a bigger deal than one would have thought it would be.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean?
of course.
Because what ends up meaning anything in life? What actually means anything?
Because at the end of the day, these are going to outlive us.
Yeah, they are. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy to think about. Leave you with that. Oh.
Pile of frets and dust.
Frets and dust.
Yeah. Well, here, you guys, thank you so much.
This
This
is
is a
such a
great
blast.
show. I had a great time. Did you have a good time?
Always.
Rex-
He's like one of my favorite people to banter with ever, for real. It is. This is so much fun. Thank you for
There's
having
a
me.
gas
Anytime
leak
you
in
want me
this
back,
room.
I'm here.
There's a gas leak in here. So everybody has a great time in here. But I think thank you, Daniel.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Yep. All right. And thank you all you guys watching out there. Check out Angela's album. If you feel so inclined, do come and support the show on Patreon so that we can continue making it. We had a camera go down. That's why we don't have a second camera. So part of what Eugene's doing is begging right now for another
Poor guy.
camera.
We never checked in with everyone to see
Oh,
what they thought.
Did they give any clue as to what Eugene may be having
we wanna
medically
know.
performed?
I selfishly want to know.
Yeah.
I actually took a screenshot of the chat to show you guys after, but it's overwhelmingly thinking that it's a colonoscopy.
It was very yes, of course it is, you guys. I mean, all right. So here, I'm gonna let you play him out. I'm gonna give you an A minor chord progression that's sullen.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, you ready for this?
I am. Colonoscopy. Oh my god, it was hilarious.
It was very good. Okay. Oh.